So check this out. This was a huge binder that I got at a garage sale for a couple of bucks. It is from the Western Pennsylvania Pre-Cancel Society, the Keystoner. You might be wondering what that was, as was I. It is a stamp collecting thing, and it was from a time when stamp collecting was huge. The binder's full of information from this club and the conventions that they ran. You might be wondering, what are pre-cancels? They are defined as stamps that have been canceled before they're ever put on an envelope or advertising. They're done by machine, and each stamp has the same marking. What you will see typically is two dark black lines with the city and the state. Why did they do pre-cancels? It was mostly to save time for businesses doing advertising, other large sales, to save the post office from having to cancel them afterwards. Pre-canceling 100 stamps in a sheet would take a lot less time than canceling those individual stamps, and people who use them tended to get a slightly lower postage rate. And then people started collecting them. Some of them are just general collectors of anything pre-canceled. Some are looking for errors or oddities. Some want to find their home state or even their hometown and collect everything they can from that. They had their own magazine, the Weekly Philatelic Gossip. So it was weekly, and I guess there's enough gossip in the hobby that they could fill up a magazine of, probably 20, 30 pages. The Pre-Cancel Stamp Society convention would travel around the country, and then in certain years it would come to Pittsburgh, which is what this binder is all about. And so they have conventions in 1951, 57, 1969, and 1975. They had awards and certificates that they gave out. They even got letters of commendation from mayors and governors and even senators. So, stamp collecting was a thing. Also included in the binder were a bunch of things from the Pittsburgh Area Convention Bureau, because they would be happy to promote Pittsburgh when people came into town for the convention. And so you get a real nice snapshot from the 50s and 60s of what Pittsburgh was like. Some pretty cool pictures and photos. One year it was held at the Pick Roosevelt Hotel, and you can see this thing was fancy and swanky. And again, I just love the pictures and the graphics and everything else about this. And this was a money-making thing. You can see that they brought in $2,300 in 1975. They spent about $1,900, giving them a profit of $406. They even had to have insurance, $15,000 worth, to make sure that everybody was safe while doing this dangerous hobby. Here's the convention information guide, 60 minutes of attention in every hour, purple mimeographs. Remember how these things used to smell? So I thought I wanted to go back to the olden days when you could actually have a pre-cancel society, but you know what? I looked it up, and it actually still exists, the Pre-Cancel Stamp Society. And they actually are having their 104th convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.